Hi, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to install an outside tap, and I'm going to take you through this step by step. Now over here we've already dug a trench, so you can see this pipe is called a polycop pipe, and we're going to join it to a copper pipe, the one that I'm holding in my hand. So the first step would be to locate your water source. So we've done that, and we've dug an trench along the entire route to the water source. Alright, so we've dug this trench, and the pipe goes under the ground. Now over here, unfortunately, we had a pillar in the way, so we had to make a join with the pipes. I'll also show you how to join pipes. Obviously the fewer joins you have, the better, but unfortunately we do have to have one join here. Right, so we had dug up all of this, and now we've covered it. The pipe is running under the ground here, and here is the pipe. So now what we need to do is just connect it to the water source. This is the source. I've got a shut-off valve there at the moment. This is where the council water comes in, that goes to the main house, and as I said, this is an outside tap, so I'm going to join it here so that I can also shut it off. Right, now there's quite a few different types of pipes. You can see this is galvanized. Galvanized usually looks like this in color. Copper is like this. This is polycop, comes in different sizes. You can see this is bigger than this, and then these are just plastic pipes, usually for irrigation and things like that. Now over here you can see I've got a tee-off point. Now this part here is coming from the council, so if you're going to be doing this, you would have to switch off your mains water supply. So you'll have to either go outside, or maybe at the gate, near the gate of your premises, there'll be a shut-off. This part here is a little bit tricky because different people have different setups. If you were having copper pipes, you would then need to do a tee-off like this. This is one you use with solder. You could also use these type of Connex type connectors, which also work with copper. If yours is galvanized, then you'll have something like this. And then in terms of shut-offs, you can see there's different sizes. Here's another shut-off. This one is normally for indoors, and here is a small shut-off, usually for a bathroom. Now whether you need a shut-off or not is up to you. You don't have to have one because you've obviously got your main shut-off for your entire water supply for your whole premises. So the next step for me is to tee off here to go to my outside tap. So you can see that this pipe is much smaller than this fitting here, and especially from the galvanized. So I have to come up with a little formula here. There you can see I'm going to reduce it, and what happens if I just put this on directly like that, it's going to leak. So I'm going to have to use hemp, and I'll show you the hemp now. This is the hemp. Now this is different from the tape. Now the tape, people do use the tape, but personally I prefer the hemp. If it was plastic, yes, I would use the tape, and because this is galvanized, I particularly like to use the hemp. Right, so over here I'm going to this reducer, so this will go like that, and now you can see the polycop pipe is over there, so I actually need to get it in there. So I could bend it, but it'll put it under too much pressure, so what I'll need is a 90 degree, and now I can get this type of fitting. You can see this goes perfectly on there, same size, so this will go like that, and it'll allow me to have that 90 degree just over there. Obviously there's many ways to do this. If you wanted to, you could also do it like this. So you'll cut the pipe there, that'll go there, and there'll be a short section of your polycop pipe over here. So that's pretty much what it's going to look like. Right, so here is the hemp. All I'm doing is I'm taking a little bit of it, I'm twisting it like that, and it needs a little bit of water, so I'm just going to open this. There, I've got some water. So that is going in like that. So I'm going to put the hemp, rotating this in the same way. Don't start the hemp on the very first thread. Put it towards maybe thread 3 and 4, and now you can start building up the hemp. Rather than overlap the hemp, let it build up gradually as you go towards the back of the threads. And the point of putting extra on the back is it just creates a water lock, because hemp swells up when it gets wet. And I can just put this inside here. Right, there we go. Now just support it as you tighten it. Right, now this one, same story. You can see it's going to turn like that, but it also needs a hemp. So I have the hemp here. I'm just going to make it thinner, and you can actually twist and pull on the hemp. Alright, so as you can see, I'm building it up really towards the back there, and the reason being is it actually just creates almost like a hemp washer. Right, so really getting a little bit tight. As you saw, I started the hemp a little bit early on the tracks there, but it's fine. And now just tighten this. Now it's not that tight, but I could leave it like that, the hemp will swell up, or I could go around one more time. Remember that now you've got to be aware that this is going in here, so you've got to work out, are you able to go one more time around? Alright, so that's about as tight as I need it. I'm not going to go around again, that is fine. Remember, the hemp swells up. Now you can see this is all rough and it's not very nice. Make sure that this is all straight when you put this in. So you want to cut this as flat as possible. Don't want it to be beveled. Put the ring over there and let it seat a bit further down. Now, as I said, this is just in the ground, so I can shift this. As you can see, now very important, while you're tightening it, don't just tighten it, it could be peeling away from the pipe. You've got to push the pipe in while you tighten it. Now this pipe over here is just an irrigation pipe, so you just ignore it. You see how that made a difference? See, I pressed it in, it actually was coming out there, and now I can tighten it. It's right in there, right in there. How you know it's tight enough, you can actually see the side of the ring on the pipe here. If you can see the side of the ring, you're done. Right, so now I'm deciding where I want my tap. So obviously I've measured it from the ground and I'm happy about here. There's no point installing it like that. All that's going to happen is it's going to wobble, and if you install on the edge of a brick, it's going to crack this part of the brick and break off. Best to install towards the middle of a brick, and then also you can see you get a line here, you know you're vertical. So your pipe can now run along this gap. It looks better because it kind of goes in the line gap there. Right, so here I'm going to get ready to drill this in, and I'm going to put this basically in the middle of the brick, just like that. And if you want to, you can just use a marker to mark it off. Right, now that's mounted in the wall, but you'll have to measure your copper to see the length to the ground to join to the pipe that is in the ground. So I'm now going to measure that and cut the copper to length. If you're going to cut the copper with a hacksaw, just make sure that it doesn't end up looking like that, because when you put the ring on, water gets underneath there. So you've got to make sure that whatever way you cut it, whether you use a hacksaw or an angle grinder, that it is a clean cut. You can also use one of these tools, which is very handy. You can see it's got two wheels there and a blade. And what happens is you just put that around the pipe, you seat the pipe in the middle where the two wheels are, and you tighten a little bit, and now you just rotate like that. And you tighten and rotate. And there you can see it does a very nice cut, and you can see how the ring can slide right on very easily. Okay, so do not fasten the pipe yet. What we want to do is put these clamps in place first. Now these clamps are important because over many years eventually this tap wiggles a bit and people knock it and stuff, and the clamps are very good because they keep the pipe straight, and it also stops the pipe from having unnecessary movement. So what you want to do is you want to mark this off. You might want to use 2 or 3 of these type of clamps. So I'm going to mark them off, drill them in, fasten the copper, and then I'm going to tighten the ends of the pipes. Alright, so I just unclip it there, take the clip out, and now drill the hole, so this can actually just be pressed in. Now these clamps are specified for this size copper. If you're using a different size pipe or a galvanized pipe, you've got to get the clamp that is aligned to the size of your pipe. Right, so what you want to do now is you want to hold the ring in your hand. You want to push this copper pipe all the way in, as far as it can go. Now you want to hold the ring up there. Don't let that ring fall down. And the reason being is that if the ring is sitting somewhere there and it catches or it tightens onto the copper pipe, and then you're trying to fasten this, you're actually going to deform the copper inside. It's going to leak here. So that ring has to be quite high up there, and then you want to tighten this. If you can try and hold that ring, and the way to hold it is just pull on the pipe so it kind of wedges there. Now you can tighten this. Now what I'm doing is I'm just putting the tap here, and the reason I'm putting the tap here is I don't want to put unnecessary pressure on that joint on the wall. So while I tighten this, I'm actually holding on the tap. How you know it's tight enough, you can sometimes hear it. It makes it like a screech sound, it goes like ee, or you can just see the side of the ring coming out. Now down at the bottom, this is just a straightforward elbow, so I'm just putting that on there, and then and that's going to be sitting over there, so I just need to put the ring and the nut. Just make sure it's always clean. And now you're going to press that in as much as possible. Push the elbow up as much as possible. Sometimes it's a good idea to just tap it, and now you can tighten it. Right, now you just want to support it. Right, now because I've tightened that, and this is under a little bit of tension, you can see it moves a bit. So it's always a good idea to just recheck what's happening here. And I can see the seal is on there, but now what I want to do is I'll push it as far in there as possible, and now I can tighten the nut. You can see that I'm holding it in the line of the elbow. There's no point tightening it like while it's sitting like wedged like that. Rather keep the line straight so it makes sure it seats in there nicely. And that's the sound I'm talking about. Listen to it. Okay, and you can start to see the ring coming through there. So if you look closely, you can see there's the beginning of the ring, there's the beginning of the ring. You don't have to over tighten these things. If you switch it on and it's dripping, tighten it. If it's not dripping, leave it, it's fine. You can always go back and tighten it. So this is not something that once you haven't made it tight enough, you've stuffed up. No, it's fine. You can always go and re-tighten it. Right, now it's time to put the tap on, and you can see that the tap also needs the hemp. If you don't put the hemp, it's going to leak, even if you tie this, even if you fasten this very tight. So you've got to use the hemp now. So you can see that this is going clockwise, so the hemp is also going clockwise now. Make sure it's vertical. Right, installation, which will be different to yours, is just to join these two pipes. We had a little problem with the foundation and our paving, so we wanted to move the tap about 1.5 meters away. So I just have to join it, and here is the join. Yeah. Now, when you are tightening this, make sure you push these two together. Alright, so there's the tap, there's the join which would be underground, there's the additional join as I've explained. Alright, so I've just put this in a container and put the sand back, but now I can open the water, and best is to be able to view your fittings for about 24 hours. So obviously if it's leaking I can see because the join is right here. Right, so here's the tap. Now this is wet because the tap just flowed here. Here's the finished product. You can see here's my outside tap, and I've connected it to a hose reel. If you want to see how to install one of these, check the link under the video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.